Vatic vs Tribe Gaming, your grand final of the April monthly finals here in NA. Draft is open, Chuck is open. Let's see if he's going to be picked up once more on Heist. I'm not that big of a fan of him, but
NA, baby. They're still running it in the current year.
I could imagine a BB first pick as well. It's quite a menacing brawler to deal with on this map. Even if you have anti-tanks, you cannot never really deal with her. Cold first pick would be good as well. I didn't see if he was banned or not. Crow 1 comes in place here. Cold is open as well, which in Europe honestly has been such a menace and such a crazy first pick, which I assume Tribe is going to go here as well.
It's been that Buffy that obviously makes him really painful to deal with now. It's just so hard to pin Colt down, and he obviously is, one of the highest damage brawlers in the game that offers a level of skill expression that many players in this lobby can take advantage of. We talked about tank selection, right? We imagine that Tribe are always thinking about how to set up RBM to be extremely oppressive. Seen BB attempted here, in the previous series, but they're going to take the safer option. Open with Otis, and they will take that Colt. So this is Tribe taking notes here from EMEA, and obviously they had to deal with the Colt from Bobby in the previous series too.
Now, I'm not a big fan of this Otis, because I do think if you do go BB, this Colt will be... And Otis will not be able to sufficiently defend a BB. She will always create pressure for the Crow. She will always be annoying, and even a last pick will not be easily to deal with that. Might need to be a Rico last pick. Now, there's one brawler which NA goes a lot, which is Shade. With a Cold pick there, though, I don't know if you want to commit for it or not. I would like to see it if they want to try it or not. If not, I really would like to see a BB. And they still need a bit more base damage. Rico is just going to be the pick into a Cold, though I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I did not expect him to come out still into... Usually Rico is picked and then Colt is picked as a counter. We're playing it in reverse here. Super interesting. And I also didn't really agree with the Otis pick. Clancy is actually open in this one.
Oh my! That is crazy.
That was my reaction.
He can literally like 50% of a save by himself within 15 seconds. All right, I did not see that he's OP.
And if you want to defend the BB, I think he's also the better option. And there's the BB we talked about. I mean, Clancy could still be the last pick on the right-hand side, but I would have much preferred Clancy over Otis there.
RBM's the kind of player that not only plays the tanks, but also very good at playing tank counters. Someone that plays a bunch of that role, really understands how to work against it. We saw like a random Shelly pick up in the previous series, which was definitely causing some degree of nightmare. So by no stretch of the imagination do Tribe have to, hedge themselves in that tanky direction. Clancy would be fun. I don't know if that's necessarily in the wheelhouse. It's going to be a Ziggy pick instead.
Now, it is great. It's amazing into Rico and Crow, but that BB will quite be a menace. Which is fine, because if a BB needs to follow the Ziggy, then the BB is not on the save, which means the Ziggy can also just get defended by the Otis, and then the Rico and Crow cannot play the game. Honestly, I like it. I love the Ziggy is massively gonna get nerfed in the balance sheet as well, which he definitely deserves. The ult is gonna do a lot of damage on the save. I kinda like this pick, I'm not gonna lie.
And they have the Cold, so they could decide to just not open the map so Ziggy has a bit more pressure, but they kinda have to into Rico now. Such an interesting draft. Let's head into our first map of the Grand Finals.
Time to get this one underway. Off we go to Hot Potato. It's going to be Luffy here up in mid, but Ducky's already taking a lot of that early pressure from Diego Gamer. Definitely the kind of person you want to be in the hot seat on the Ziggy. Ducky's going to respect this damage now and forced to give a bit of ground, even as Livy struggling on that right-hand side.
Ziggy almost low star power here. Could debate if you want to go damage from low save damage. Rico on the top right is not able to break through. Not sure what Get It Cold is playing. However, he is successfully defending that Rico on the right side. Ziggy finally is going down, but after creating so much pressure and dealing so much damage, he's dropping an Otis. I don't know about all that.
Yeah, Luffy going to drop in there and get some free damage. Mute button on Bilal. This is going to be dangerous for the Crow. He's going to be brought down, and here is a long moving Ziggy Super coming straight down mid. It doesn't actually tickle the safe, but it creates a little bit of space for Diego Gamer to work in as Livy, though, tucked in the right side corner. Nice spitball connection, though, onto RBM, but it's traded by Luffy.
But Bubble actually still getting the Ziggy. Quite impressive from there, but all this damage has been quite insane so far. But Rico is not able to successfully break through that easily. Now someone needs to deal with that BB. I guess it will be Otis with his high ult, but that Crow is looking quite insane right now.
Bilal gets burnt down, though. Even the shield, not enough to keep him alive. And that's percent-based damage reduction there, not a flat amount. Oh, yeah, Ducky's in trouble. Has to pop the gadget here to try and stay alive. But the Fat Splatter's a bit of a nuisance there. It's Diego being picked up by Bilal. So at least that Ziggy element is off the table.
I did just see that RBM does have the gadget that steals your ammo away. So I'm quite impressed how he even got the first interaction into Rico. He has definitely been hitting his shots. Full control here from the side of Vatic. They keep pushing further, but the Ziggy gets the kill on Rico. It's a refrag, but that refrag helps Tribe Gaming way more to secure some control back.
Liffy wants to get forward now, but again, Tribe Gaming only ahead by 2%. That last push for Vatic was pretty gainful. I see Diego Gamer, though. He has that hypercharge super. Watch out for it. Although Bilal turns up right in front of him, that's a decent opportunity. Diego has to just super onto the safe and hope for enough damage here, but it's all Vatic all the time now. 40 and counting % on that Tribe Gaming safe. Vatic's push gets them ahead.
These trolls that keep getting Vizigi are so crucial. That was the only reason why they have full control right now. Vizigi ult over Rico's coming down. They're actually getting the kill. 20% difference almost. The Mute is down with Baby Candice. This is enough though. The Crow Hyper is going to come for defense. He might even go off. This is going to happen or not. Vizigi on the bottom right. The Crow keeps doing damage. It's too much. There's no way they're going to get any damage on the bottom. And they're actually going to win the first game with a Rico ult as well.
A lot of spend of resources there from Vatic to push up there. Tribe had to spend a Ziggy super to try and clear a Rico out from that right-hand side. We mentioned that having the map broken up with the Colt could make it harder for Rico, but RBM is holding off on that. He's trying to create those pockets for Ziggy to play in, but in doing so, he empowers the Rico.
Now, I really want to see how this white lane is going to be played. They actually do swap the lane now, which I really, really like. Otis is quite pressuring this Crow, but BB doing a lot of pressure, kind of getting get off guard. It's just what I mean. She will always go full, she will always get pressure, and that Rico as well went through 25% damage dealt already, but the Colt is trying his best to do it as well. But the baby on the top side, can she get him? She gets the kill!
This is dangerous now. Ducky is free hitting the safe, and RBM might have to turn around and do something about this, BB. It's not going to be enough of a race here for a Tribe Gaming. They get a Ziggy super off on the safe, but it's still almost 20% that separates these two.
That BB is just going to respawn and rush down this Colt to the wall. The Colt is doing everything he can to pop that shield in time. He did not. There's still 1% on the shield, and then Ziggy keeps struggling against this Rico speed stopper, which is such an excellent choice to go against the Ziggy. The healer as well, he is getting taken care of. But the Colt did waste a ton of time, though, to make it the 2v1 for Tribe right now.
Still, they've got to get into the map properly here. Ducky is going to stand in their way and try and dance away from a lot of this Ziggy damage. There's a super here from Diego Gamer, but as Livy turned up on the right side and flattens the Ziggy. Lock on the safe here. Still, Vatic have a healthy lead. RBM, though, needs to remediate this now and gets a bunch of spam onto the safe. That's now made it much closer. 3% separate these teams, and now as Livy's trying to go to work on that Tribe Gaming safe, and nobody seems to be able to stand in his way. Diego Gamer pops the hypercharge and body blocks the safe desperately, but it's 8% left for Tribe Gaming. A matter of time, you'd imagine, for Vatic to come in and claim the dub.
Please, someone stop that Rico. I can't believe the amount of damage he does. Ducky just keeps running it down. Just creates more pressure for his teammates. There was some damage on the bottom side as well. 3v1 for Rico. It did pop the heal. Is he gonna get an ult? 2,000 HP on the same. Crow has an hyper as well. Can he finish it? He pops it. He's going for the control, for the damage, for the ult perhaps. He's not getting it. The return shots are not coming down. Ducky's running it down as well. They're throwing.
Ducky's trying to run up here, 2% left on the safe, but he pulls up short as Livy can finish it, no problem. Hit by the mute button, but the shots had already come out, and Vatic have done enough.
This Rico menace, it's crazy. No cold break to deal with him easily. The Ziggy is getting outplayed by the Star 4 gadget combo of him. The baby just keeps doing pressure. As I told you, one time you're not careful, she rushes down mid, gets the others, killing the others at the start of the game, securing 25% more damage on the save. That was so incredibly crucial.
There was no one freed up to double back and actually deal with the BB after, there was that early elimination. I've got to say, as Livy is a standout to me. I feel like the Ziggy is one of the most powerful picks you could bring in here as Tribe, and as Livy, with that extra burst of speed, with that sustain from Bouncy Castle, is so hard for Diego to sort of burn through. He ends up using up all of his ammunition, and as Livy is still standing, still peppering that safe down.
And that BB pick just did so much pressure for them. The Colt, I loved it. I think did the most out of their combo. That BB pick, the amount of pressure that she did, it was just amazing. Ziggy actually 419 DPS was a lot, just not enough. The damage on the safe also clearly not enough, and they tried to do it, but the objective is at the end of the day the save, and Vatic just had a better comp for that.
Yeah, they got the ability to shrug off a lot of this Ziggy damage as much as there was. It was a healing gadget for Ducky, healing gadget for his Livy. So yeah, plenty of Ziggy pressure across the map. It is sort of forcing people out of the way, but unfortunately, not enough for that damage from Ziggy went onto the safe. Not an auspicious start in this series for Tribe Gaming. They even get beat down by one of their signature picks. That BB is too good in the hands of Vatic, and a team that we have praised over the course of today for their drafting falls a little bit short in this first set.
Tribe Gaming without a tank. No Clancy getting picked through as well. Is that the same Tribe Gaming we just saw?
Right.
We just witnessed no tank? That is crazy. Now, going into Heart of Mine, I do believe we're going to get quite a mess of comps, quite close range comps as well. The global bands do fit for that as well. Potential Sandy's assassins. I really want to see some assassins here.
Lily.
Grab especially. Lily, Kit, Morris, Shade. All of them are beautiful to play on this map.
And they're all open. It's going to be very hard to ban all of those assassins out that could threaten gem carriers. And that's why Semantic feels that this is going to be pretty volatile. Clancy double ban. That should tell you everything you need to know. Shade has been taken off the board here, but both teams are definitely, you'd have to imagine, considering trying to work some tanks in, and it's Mortis open and taken away straight away.
Love that aggression. I'm not sure if it's a first pick. The bans do look quite good for it, for Ruff's global ban as well. There's a Pam pick open, which I would love to go here from a side of Tribe Gaming, where Ruff's is unfortunately banned as well. You could go some kind of Pam Kit comp. I would love that. I think a Kit would look good into a Mortis, as it's a free habit judge for you, which is a free kill on the gem carry. Pam is just a nice brawler to not die too easily from a Mortis if you do have a nice gadget. Scrap Sucker, I believe it is called, to steal the ammo of the Mortis here. If you don't want to go that round, I'm not sure if you can go more aggro or tank into that. You will go a bust into that. With a long star power, you actually completely counter the Mortis. It's a bit hard to pull off though, but we do know RBM on that brawler. He goes crazy on it.
Yeah, it's definitely a signature pick of his. I think having the stopping power here on this buzz is going to be pretty important. You've got great mobility. It's the kind of map you can get around pretty easily, especially with that hypercharge. And in general, it's the kind of pick that always feels like it comes out of the back pocket for this Tribe Gaming team. Now, they've got to start thinking about, a relatively safe mid, someone who also has the ability to stop this Mortis in his tracks.
I don't think it's going to be enough, especially if Mortis ever gets Hyperdodge ult. He will basically break himself out of Cocoon, just thanks to the bonus dash he gets from a Buffy, and the Hype ult is going to come back and forth. So I don't think it's the brawler to be against a Mortis as him. Still good lane for the Pam last pick, so let's see. Now, Vatic needs something for the bus. They also need a bit of support for the Mortis and potentially a good mid. I don't think you can go Jay Young. You do need a bus counter. What do you go against that? I mean, you can't go Rico, I think. You need a stun brawler preferably. Janet to escape. I think a Mo will fit it a bit to fill up this comp a bit. If not, they really need a stun brawler.
Are you taking Jump Gadget here for the Janet? Or?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. As annoying as Boombox can be, it used to stay until you destroyed it. That was extremely troll, but we have a
You used to be able to use it while flying. That was crazy. That was really, really crazy.
Yeah, Janet definitely had her time in the sun, but now is a bit more of a niche pick for a safe mid that has those frames of invulnerability towards the end of the round.
It's a stun.
So, you've got stopping power now of your own. It is Sandy, of course, someone who needs a bit of help, though, to take the buzz down after they stun him up.
Yeah, they don't have damage output. Then we literally need to 2v1 this boss to completely handle him.
Yeah.
Low damage output as well. That's a free tank, in my opinion. Go Rosa if you want. Go Daryl. Any type of tank, even Trunk will be amazing to go. A Kit also just to support the boss as well. I will gladly take a Pamit if you want as well. Or just a Shelly to fully shut down the Mortis, which they really, really needed.
Yeah, clearly it's like an opinion of Tribe that they still don't want to bring a second tank in here, especially without any like innate sustaining brawler or straight up healer. The Shelly, though, is going to be pretty problematic for someone like Sandy, who needs to get up close. Shelly has innate sort of sustain in terms of healing. And, of course, the Mortis would need to respect her.
But Sandy is getting fed now, which is a big problem, because if she keeps cycling her ults, there's a possibility of Mortis sneaking up, getting the gem carry, and at the end of it, then the gem carry is the only thing you need. And if a Charlie falls down too easily, that is game over. So all eyes on the Sandy, on the Sandstorm, how many she gets, and if she wasted it or not. And, of course, the Mortis sneaking up on the mid left.
It is Diego Gamer, though, here on the Charlie in mid, so we know we're looking at a very assertive player that isn't afraid to take some risks. And of course, Diego Gamer, that damage drastically increases when up close, and it's a self-cocoon here to sort of stuff Ducky's first push.
Bad lane swaps from the side of Vatic. Should have recognized the Sandy on the Shelly earlier. Should have gone a bit beautiful stun here from Belal. The Buffalo is not going to connect. Mortis is going to get some nice value. Full control for Vatic. They keep getting a lot of ult value. They actually do get the kill here. Can they get the gems too? It's going to be quite hard. Bust is claimed now. One shot away from ult. There you go. He gets it. He misses it though, and that's a major mistake.
Ducky here, pushing pretty deep into enemy territory, holding a gem, but he doesn't mind because he can go up to Diego Gamer yet again. Hypercharge super will be available should it be needed. It's going to make use of it on RBM. Fidget Spinner Gadget gets that extra damage, and Luffy is in trouble.
I guess he used the Hypercharge ult to get a double kill, but the game isn't over yet. There's a Hypercharge bust about to happen. You just use your major win condition right now. Vatic has a Sandy ult though to stop a lot of push value, a lot of control here. The Mortis does get the bust. The Shady is not able to do anything, and the Charlie in the Modern Free is simply not going to happen, even though she is a killer. She's probably one shot away from ult. The bus Hyper is coming down as well, but the Janet flies away. The Mortis is going to get cocooned.
Great cocoon here as Luffy's going to drop down though, and Bilal's going to be back in the game. Here's a Hypercharge super from the Sandy. Sandy, and it feels like this really tilts the fight in Vatic's favor once more. Diego Gamer this time doesn't have a cocoon to interrupt the countdown, and frankly, it's a tough job for RBM to get in a meaningful way here.
But Mortis has to jam it. They're just going to focus him. He's going to make sure he dashes away. He goes to the left, dodges everything. RBM cannot follow up as well. No ult, no gadget, no hypercharge this time for him to get the gem carry.
I'm kind of feeling this from Vatic so far. It's another really interesting draft with the Mortis that, like you mentioned, the Charlie isn't enough to stop the Mortis in his tracks. And if he throws out that super and that lifeblood comes back, and virtually you only have a couple of seconds that you actually have to be inside that cocoon. This is scary. Mortis open, we haven't seen it all day, and now I'm starting to see why.
Matchup's really important. Sandy or Michelle, they swap away immediately. Mortis going away. Mid matchup should be in favor of the Jet, in my opinion. Mortis catching 2 once, you know, that's fine. Beautiful stun here from Vatic to stop, shut down the Sparks, getting a bit of a slow charge. Mortis actually going in, recognizing that Shelly doesn't have the HP to fight him there.
Okay, Diego Gamer able to throw a cocoon down on the Janet. RBM, nice little stun there of Ducky, but the Sandstorm comes up at a pretty decent time. It's Luffy, though, who's on red alert, looking for that Mortis, and as soon as he pops up, he's taken down.
Beautiful wall break from Shelly, destroying the grass, their rotation, their walls as well, to make it easier for them to play. RBM in the corner here, should get Bilal out here. It's not gonna get it. Bilal's actually gonna get an ult off that. Gonna die, trading out, you know, that's fine. Mortis on the mid left here, trying to create some pressure. He just needs his ult and his hypercharge, basically just die for it. He's running away, but honestly, just run him down.
Okay, well, here is the cocoon to catch up the Mortis, but I think somehow he doesn't mind that too much. Ducky's going to get picked off, though. He's literally only with 2 gems to his name. Tribe definitely have a nice little lead here, and here is that super now, just for safety, if nothing else. Diego Gamer really controlling mid, and Luffy's healthy enough. 4 gems to his name, though. Ducky's had a quieter round, struggled a little bit to get onto the gem carrier.
Buzz hypercharge about to happen any second here. He has from the left side, just gonna be careful with Asani's stun, take the route where he is not, preferably. If Sleepy doesn't have a route as well, he's gonna be really careful. Asani is going on the boss as they recognize the threat correctly. The model stealing with gems, I actually love that. Quite underrated to play. The stun is happening, RBM is getting taken care of. No stun for now though. They do get Diego Gamer perhaps, even if he gets Cocoon. They do not, but the boss hyper comes down immediately because there is no Sandy stun.
And here comes Ducky looking scary now. Vatic get the countdown started as Livy's stunned up, but Ducky's waiting for his chance to spring forth. Gets himself to 9 gems though. That's going to have to be enough. That's the countdown begun, and Tribe are going to have to go for more. RBM doesn't have a super ready at the moment. Luffy's going to try and come forward. Big damage though. Ducky, he's low, trying to get away. Diego Gamer slowing him down, but Ducky finds a way out, and it's through RBM. 5 seconds left, but no one's going to catch the Mortis, and he knows he is home free. Torpedo misses from RBM, and there is the set for Vatic, stealing victory away from what looked like it might be an equalizing set.
Tribe looked so good there on the defense. They were so fine, but then the Charlie fell, and Luffy actually misplaced his hyper ult. He ulted before he hypered, and I feel like that was a major play because the buffy effect is... I don't know, you just cannot ult without your hyper. It's just a major mistake in an endgame scenario like that.
Yeah, a very small sequencing issue though, but it really seems to have been the difference maker there for Tribe. Very messy last few moments. It's been quite a volatile set, but you called it. There would be assassins in the mix targeting our gem carriers. And to start with, it was the Mortis and Ducky that was doing most of the work.
Also, the missed bust ult on the Mortis. Why did you go for that? It's 7 gems to take it slow. You could even just hit the other guy and make it was the Sandy and just make sure you kill him. So you have some mid control, but oh my, what a mistake from Tribe. What blunders. And we see it time and time again where I think like someone would draft is fine, but just the small things which are really important to execute perfectly are just not there from Tribe right now.
Yeah, that's tough. There was an ult, a super thrown out by the Buzz, and then the gadget. That wouldn't have been a stun, but it would have at least allowed RBM to get a little closer. We talked about this for Sandy, right? Not a whole lot that outranges Sandy. Sandy's going to get fed, as you put it, and that is what happened. We saw a number of those really impactful supers from Bilal that allowed to, for this level of map control that, frankly, Tribe couldn't do too much about. And this is a bizarre situation. Tribe are on the precipice of losing this series in a sweep.
Which is why I think if Sandy's getting fed anyway, why go Shelly? Why not go another tank to just run them down even further? That was my thought process at least. I don't think Shelly was necessarily that bad. I think that was really winnable if you play it correctly. But unfortunately, Vatic takes it away. We are 2-0 right now. Tribe Gaming. That's not the same team we watched earlier. Simple as that.
I mean, low-key, it's kind of job done for Tribe Gaming. They're like, well...
Yeah, it is. The pressure's off their shoulders. Their quarters the level, like...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no cortisol maxing here, bro. They've gone back to Jester maxing for this final. That's fine.
Beltrock coming in, the draft. Tribe Gaming needs to log in for reverse sweep here. Ollie kit ban for 2 bros I mentioned earlier. Double Ollie ban, quite interesting. The Ziggy ban on last pick, of course, quite a menace. PS1, love that. Gene and Leon ban as well will happen quite a lot. You do need a Charlie perhaps to counter him. Maybe a Nani, maybe a Brock perhaps. It's going to be quite difficult to draft around this. Rico potentially can happen as well, but the kid and Ollie ban is so important, honestly, for Vatic.
Yeah, again, there are ways to play tanks on this map. It used to be like Daryl plus Byron. You know, you would sort of throw your super in there, but that's sort of evolved since then to involve the kid. We've seen Doug mixed in there a little bit. You can play, look, you can play tanks here, but the premier options are off the table in terms of Bull and Ollie not really being favored here. You can reinforce the issue with Daryl, but here's the spike.
I don't like that at all, Uber. It's like... It kind of worked earlier in Golden Gulch, right? It kind of worked because you do have a gadget to play this. But like, I just don't. That is so squishy, man. Like, at least the Brock is a beautiful pick on this map. You are supposed to win your 1v1 to sniper, but they're so squishy, and I just hate the spike in this meta right now. It's just not the brawler you want to go, especially in an open map like this.
Yeah, designated as a sharpshooter initially in the game. I think that was just a play on words by Supercell because Spike is pretty limited in terms of range, and most of Spike's power comes from that hypercharged super where you can, if you're able to place that correctly, you can punish people trying to push up on you. In a sense, you know, Spike is high damage, but can't do too much about tanks that run up on them, depending on who they are. Here's that Jaeyoung to get you into the map nice and early, and of course, there's always the threat of that Weekend Warrior burst damage out of nowhere.
No, they still need something for Thrower, which I guess you could go Rico, I guess you could go Throw yourself. The problem is there's a take last pick, so are you gonna go that? You could go Cold to just break up a map, I don't dislike that. Maybe an Assassin as well. You could just go Mortis. I would love to see a Mortis right here, right now.
Yep, still open. That's crazy here with Leon banned as well. Okay, Mina, similar vibes. Obviously someone who's going to be attracting a lot of attention.
Actually, I hate that. There's a Rico last pick open. That Brock will not break. They will just pick a Rico mid, and it's going to cook this comp apart by himself. As long as the Brock plays slow, Spike plays slow, that Rico can literally cook by himself. They're going for Meeple though, which is a great Mina counter and has the box as well to help them quite a lot. So I don't dislike it. Would have loved to Rico a bit more.
Having a gadget there that punishes the Mina for getting too slow is pretty important, and obviously as Livy won't be able to benefit from hiding behind too many of these walls, so you don't have to play heavy wall break with this kind of setup. You know, Bilal, of course, is still going to be a threat here on this Pierce. We are going to be looking at some intensely skill-based matchups. Whoever is, yeah, Ducky, I'm glad, you know, Ducky's going to be on the Mina. They're going to have to do the lion's share of the work here and closing the gap, finding smart gadget timings and avoiding that Meeple if possible.
Spike by far the worst matchup in this whole draft. Cannot do anything into Jaeyoung, fully hardcore about that. Should not be able to do a lot into Pierce. And Mina should know how to dodge him as well. Pierce on the right side, creating some nice pressure. The cactus is there. Just waste your ammo, I guess, on it. That's fine enough. You gotta do it. He's actually collected his ammo to destroy it with it, so he doesn't need to waste extra ammo. Ducky on the left side, creating some nice pressure.
Okay, Bilal here able to pick up a couple of those drinks. And we have a lot of push-up here for Vatic. Mentions a Meeple. Ducky is going to have to go for a gadget, but has some walls to hide behind here. You've got to be careful. Mina, not quite as tanky as you'd hope for her to be if you're going to sit there and soak those shots. Life plant. Very important.
Impressive play from RBM, big gadget. Even if he would have gotten hit by the ult, he would have got healed up before. Probably would have survived it. Meeple box in the middle, secures him a bit of control. Mina, unfortunately, on the left side against Meeple is not the best. He got to stop it away immediately. When Foggy comes in, he's going to miss though. Ducky is going to strand it on the left side and dies.
Yeah, nothing you can do about that. There is a nice hit from Diego Gamer. This is smooth sailing now from Tribe Gaming. They got themselves a pretty decent draft and a comp that seems overly hostile to Mina.
I just love that last pick, honestly. I was saying Rico, but if Meeple works equally fine to shut down a Mina like that and to give them full control, I take that too. Tribe Vatic just didn't consider the last pick too much for the side of Tribe Gaming. Now, Bilal is kind of a carry here. If he's able to manage to get a nice ult on the Spike, on nice early kill, they can't play with 3v2. It's going to be quite difficult to go for it. Jaeyoung on the Meeple is the matchup you want to.
Some damage on Diego Gamer, but now that super is ready. Might see him look to go aggressive now. Ducky as low as he is. Ducky's not really able to find a comfortable part of the map to play in, but needs to be close to Eslivy for that sustain. That puts him, though, close to Diego Gamer now, and here comes that Meeple hypercharge. Ducky cannot hang.
Beautiful gadget by Brock here. Bit early hypercharge ult from Diego Gamer. I feel like you should have that for late game. Bilal on the right side. Full fall down from Brock. Never mind, he's dodging it. Kinda alive, kinda not. He's 100% dead. Right there. Bilal is going for a kill. 200 HP off of Meeple on the top left. He's still alive.
That's the closest that Vatic has actually gotten to finding an edge there. It says Livy on the Jaeyoung looking for damage, but now hypercharge super coming in from Luffy. Tribe Gaming feel like they might hack this, but is that an overestimation? No, in the incendiary field, Ducky will burn to a crisp, but now is Livy stuck in a 1v2 to try and keep this round alive. It's not to be, folks. Weekend Warrior gives him a fighting chance, but it's not enough.
I take it back actually for matchups. I think with best matchups we have, Mina into Brock, Jae into Spike, Pierce into Meeple. That should be the best matchup. Unfortunately, they were too far away, so they couldn't swap away. But they're definitely going to take these matchups because this Pierce has not been getting the value he wanted. The ults honestly have not been on point either. He had multiple opportunities to gain more value with it. They were not there. Comp definitely for Tribe Gaming in my opinion.
No lane swap here attempt, so Bilal will still be matching up against RBM. Who again does outrange the spike, but the life plan makes it a little bit difficult to try and get rid of the spike and requires you to overextend, perhaps, to confirm that elimination.
Nice dodge from Lucky here on the Brock attack, slipping through these cracks, which Brock, unfortunately, on mid-range, he's not that good against. He's actually hitting some nice shots, though. Pressure still from the side of Tribe Gaming. Box comes down, full control now. Luffy with a nice pinch on Bilal. It's getting just fed slowly and slowly.
Feels like Ducky knew that Dimensions was coming down, though. They're able to quickly get out of the way. Decent damage onto the spike, but again, that's what Bilal's been doing all game, and it's not really turned into an advantage for Vatic. Sticking around, throwing out. Bilal stands in it for a time. That's a little risky there for the Pierce, but Meeple's out of the game as Libby finally gets something going on the left.
Bilal actually falls down. It's a 2v2. Suddenly, what a blunder. Brock will completely miss the spike. Will do what is happening. The nerves are just not there. The 2v2 still on the play. Jae could potentially 1v2 this if he can. He cannot go down. Maybe Mina can with a nice attack, with a nice gadget. She really needs to look. It's not happening. Oh my god.
That is brutal. Vatic looked like they finally had an opening. They had a 3 versus 2, and yet Bilal gets caught at the bottom of the map. And well, the one advantage they've had really on knockout goes by the wayside. They lose a 3v2, and Tribe Gaming look like they are locked in finally.
Spike ult on the right side. Brock high volt as well. You gotta be really careful with that. And as soon as the Meeple high volt pops, they have it for endgame as well. Then surely then at least Tribe Gaming has the secure win in their hands. Bilal with the Pierce ult, you gotta be careful with that.
As Libby last time was able to get the better of Diego Gamer, and he is chomping at the bit for another chance to put himself back on the right side of the kill feed.
High bust from the side of Tribe Gaming. Probably Meeple really close to it as well. They're losing full control without even using any type of util. Meeple ult comes down a bit earlier. I don't know about that. Endgame is not even happening. Brock commits 2. He's going way too aggro. Has to get it to dodge it, but it's not gonna be enough. He just runs into his steps.
Oh my god, that was a fantastic use of the gadget to close on RBM. Beautifully done. Vatic finds signs of life here, right when it counts. And that was a pretty deep foray from the Brock, though.
Oh, why are we going aggro before overtime? Why are we investing so much util when it's clear that the overtime is used? You have won it multiple times, and that here for Meeple gadget box combo to secure that win, and they just wasted so much util. The only good thing out about that is Meeple finding this hyper, so if he gets ult, that is the clutch they need.
Libby, hyper as well for the Jaeyong. Obviously looking for a chance here to maybe set Ducky up. Obviously just looking to fight the Meeple. Neither of these are particularly high damaging brawlers. Both really bring a lot of utility to the game though. Here's a Mansions. It's got to be dodged.
Pretty interesting that they've never swapped the Meeple on the Mina back from a sort of Tribe Gaming. They keep a Brock mid, which I guess you can do. I definitely will stop the wave. Hypercharge pop from a Jaeyang here, same as Meeple. Meeple can just dodge every shot. RBM goes down. He did not protect himself after the cactus. Big mistake from him. Meeple hype ult as well. They're just respecting it. They're going back. It's looking horrible.
Ducky a little bit dangerous here though. The Mansions might give him nowhere to go. Luffy. Couple shots missed though. Ducky's still in this game. Diego low though, as Libby would like to clean him up, and there it is. Weekend Warrior pop. Diego goes low. Nice shots from Bilal from south to north. Vatic have fought their way tooth and nail back into the set.
Match point for Vatic to win this monthly final. Tribe Gaming with the most silliest of silliest mistakes, not staying behind the cactus on the top right. The Meeple ult hype ult again used too early. The Brock hype ult committed too early. The Meeple ult committed too early in the round before. Just too many sloppy mistakes, which just show how tired they are after playing so important World Cup matches before.
Been a long day. It will be absolutely wild to see Vatic step up and give us another new champion here in this region. Tribe Gaming starting to slip. And honestly, they don't have any buffer left now. We are into our decider. This is very much our match point game for Vatic. See what can be done. They're going to keep the same lane assignments. Here comes Ed Libby. This is a little bit risky. Semantic keys are extended.
I cannot believe it. He thought he can go for a kill, but no, there's a Brock to support him. No escape path for the Jaeyang. 3v2 situation right here. Big fumble, big mistake. Once again, the mistakes just keep happening. The players clearly are tired after such a long day.
Ducky backing off here. Doesn't have the combo on Diego Gamer, but definitely has the footwork to dodge a lot of these Brock rockets. Bilal here doesn't have a great angle, frankly. Only the shot through the wall as a result of picking up the drink that will get him damaged. Ducky's getting chunked down as well, and Vatic, frankly, don't have any breathing room to properly regen. Here's Mansions. Bilal caught inside of it now, a little bit scary. Spike has a super, RBM flashes it, and yes, dumps it on top of Bilal, who won't be able to walk out of Mansions. Ducky eats a shot, and that's going to be a Tribe Gaming round.
Honestly, if I was Vatic there, I would just say Golden Gas, guys, we do not want to feed this Meeple or this Meeple Hyper, the Spike Hyper. Big mistake from them. Lane swap now from Tribe Gaming, putting the Meeple in the Mina as much as they can, and they do have this Meeple box to secure a lane swap and to stop them from going to aggro. So I do like that what they're doing right now.
Yeah, as Livy wants to swap here. Luffy and Diego are making that pretty hard to do, though. Luffy keeps trying to switch into the Jae-Yong matchup. There's a super here for Luffy. It's going to Bilal. Opens up the map a little bit, but honestly, things are all over the place here. Mansions doesn't connect. Life Plant is down, sure, but another Meeple Hyper that's questionable.
Why do they keep wasting you? But Bilal on the right side does go down. Mina too. Even though they have overcommitted, they still get the kills. 3v1 situation. Tribe Gaming secures a game. And finally a set. Stopping mistakes, yes, but we still have the game on our hands.
Right, it's not pretty, but it's effective. It's kind of like the axes on their insignia there. Tribe Gaming have managed to at least create an opportunity to run back in this series. But again, nothing fancy about that. That is some gritty, dirty Brawl Stars, but whatever it takes to stay alive, I guess they'll take.
Man, you really feel that these players have a lot of pressure. Slash are tired. They're just tired after playing so much. The mistakes are just way more than whatever we saw earlier in the quarterfinals and semifinals. You feel it, and it's kind of crazy, honestly.
Yeah, under a lot of pressure here. Tribe, of course, I mean, again, they've done a lot of the work, but there's a huge incentive, right, to win first place in these monthly finals. Very much worth putting in the effort for. Vatic, though, again, they have nothing to lose. Like, they didn't have to fight for, Brawl Cup. They were just here to sort of honestly test themselves and see how far they could go. And frankly, the sky's the limit as far as we've discovered. So close to knocking Tribe Gaming out and taking this whole damn thing themselves. They'll still have a couple of chances to do that.
You're completely right. Like, they're playing for points, for seeding, for the next split. Yeah. And they got to look at, and the prize money is nothing you might forget about as well.
Both of these teams would be their first time winning a grand final in NA this year. So for both of these teams, it's already a success even standing in the grand finals. For Tribe, they don't want to come second twice in a row, right? They finally want to make it through. And yes, they already have gotten what they wanted. They made it to Brawl Cup, so maybe they're a little bit more relaxed, but the celebration is over now. They showed us that they still have the grit and they still want to fight to actually win this monthly final.
And the draft was good, right? Like, we felt like there was a way to bring a Rico last pick there to really punish because you had the only wall break, but Meeple also is able to, abuse the presence of those walls and a lack of interest in sort of clearing them out. And I feel like the Pierce never had good matchups there in so many of those rounds, so hey.
But that's also because they just kept the Pierce on the Spike for some reason, which I just couldn't understand. Just swap him away. Like, why is he on the only brawler that has any type of ability to stop your normal attacks?
Yeah, those lane assignments, something are going to be really important, especially heading into this map.
Hideout is our next map. Let's see if Tribe Gaming can come back even harder now and make it another set 5. They seem to feel really comfortable with those today. 3-2 versus Only Realm. 3-2 was also the grand final of NA last month, so we truly get all the games in here. Mortis once again a first pick. That's what happens when he's open, I guess.
Yeah, give Ducky a skill brawler, right? Like something that with real high ceiling and let him just run wild on him. I am all about that. What a great way to showcase the youngsters' strengths at the game.
I absolutely love him on this map as a first pick as well. You get the blue star and you can always get value against most types of comps. You kind of need to set up a Fang last pick to successfully counter him. Perhaps a glowy comp as well might work. You cannot necessarily go cast into that as well. You're going to feed quite a lot. I'm not even sure if an RT counters Immortals because sure you can ult so he doesn't go to you, but he can still assassinate you with an ult gadget combo and he can still go to your teammates and you cannot hit him easily as well. So they are going for control, I guess. There's no Nani pick either, which I would love over RT. Quite a fumble as well. I love a Nani into Immortals though. The shots are quite easy to hit, as dumb as it sounds. As the Nani, you have guaranteed damage and the Mortals can never get close range to you because you always 5k him. So kind of missed opportunity here, honestly.
Yeah, Nania also just good overall because there's still a lot of snipers in the game. Usually we see a lot of Bell and Angelo, for example. There he is. And Nani, of course, would be a good counter to that. Charlie's going to be the last pick here for Vatic. The draft is going really fast here. The picks are just flying in. I really like the draft of Vatic here. And on the side of Tribe, we talked about this Kaze, right, Semantic? I don't know if that's a good pick. Mortis is going to get the blue star anyway, and you're going to feed him some supers.
That's a big problem. Like, you can maybe kill him once or twice, but just feeding a Mortis ult is a major mistake in a Kaze against Mortis 1v1. You're going to feed him Hypercharge ult, and once that Hypercharge is not going to do anything about this Mortis getting Hyper for free. This is a shambles of a draft for Tribe Gaming. I think this might be game over.
What's the Kaze Mortis matchup look like in the 1-to-1?
So you cannot completely just run it down. If you are able to successfully 3k every single shot, you win the first interaction. However, every single interaction afterwards, you are losing thanks to the heal of Mortis.
Yep.
You kind of need to play also with your daggers at the start, so you just keep your range. But even then, I'm pretty sure Mortis, even if he dies once, it doesn't care. He just cycles his ult on them. That's a Jaeyang that's not going to stop it. And then RT is just going to get farmed as well. That's a fully outdraft, in my opinion.
So basically, as soon as the Mortis has super available, he's going to win that matchup. Tribe Gaming seems to think RT is enough to stop Vatic. Let's see if they can prolong in set 5.
Luffy's able to get in there and get the blue star. That might be pretty important here for Tribe Gaming to start the game as virtually defenders. But Ducky's already going to get forward. He already wants to go after them. Super's already at the ready, though, for RBM and Diego Gamer, respectively. Ducky trying to be a little bit careful about this matchup against the Kaze.
I won't even dislike Ducky just dying to get a ult because that's the only thing he needs. He cannot just play back and wait for his teammates to lose for 2v2 over 2v3 as we are right now. He just needs to go in and get his first ult so he can start actually cooking. Just go in. I don't mind if you feed. One star is only one single kill is the only thing you need. Then I'm just going to be really, really careful right now on the bottom line.
Yeah, playing safe. Here comes Push though. Fist to the Brawl Star allows Luffy to chase Bilal down. Finally, Ducky gets involved, but he picks the RT of all targets. That's not going to bode well for him at all.
He's still getting ult charge. That is what I want. A bit late, honestly, because you just wasted 1 minute to get 2 attacks off, which we could have done 20 seconds ago. 30 seconds ago, Charlie coming down. He does have a gadget pop as well. Is Ducky going to go in? He is not. Beautiful gadget to secure the kill. However, that gadget does not give you any type of ult charge.
It's cute. Ducky used the very edge of it just to make sure Diego Gamer went down. They've got to be careful about this RT. RBM, though, did drop legs, but Ducky was able to bait that super out. That could be pretty important now as the legs are starting to take hits from RBM, and Ducky says, I'm just going to clear on out for the time being. In the meantime, as Livy's fighting against the Jaeyang on the top side, it's a couple of cool noodles. Oh, the hypercharge! Build up for RBM. He's cycling too many supers this game.
The team play of Tribe Gaming is just amazing. Ducky just hasn't been able to do anything. Not a single ult across the field so far. The start was too awful. The build-up of his RT hyper, what a perfect timing to get it there. Ducky finally going in his first ult now with 15 seconds on the clock, and it's just not happening.
He crumples in a streaming heap. Bilal knows that this game is, for all intents and purposes, over. Tribe Gaming might not have copper. We'll see what happens here. Hold on, Cocoon on to RBM. They're looking for after Luffy right now. The Spider Legs.
What just happened? I cannot believe the Tribe Gaming was way too confident to stay in that corner. I cannot believe that.
Oh, that is absolutely ridiculous. It's only a blue star difference at the end of the round because Tribe Gaming, they end up hanging out inside that bush and they get flattened. It's a pretty big Cocoon connection there, though, by Livy to start them off. But, man, they're going to be happy getting that round away after being behind for 98% of it.
Blue star this time for the side of Mortis. I'm not sure if Jaeyang wasn't supporting him clearly enough, but all Ducky needs, again, is some kind of ult charge as Livy. It's gonna fall here. Ducky's just going in. That's fine. That's a free kill for them as soon as Livy here respawns. They should be getting that pretty really soon. Beautiful ult here from RBM. Should be falling down though. Cocoon is small. They should be winning. It's Livy with a dodge of a Jaeyang shot.
Livy able to get healed up, but there goes Luffy. This now puts Vatic in the lead. Tribe try and race forward here, but perhaps sling a little bit too long in Vatic's territory and give up a lead. There's a lifeblood. Luffy though backs away. Ducky does not want to chase the Kaze.
Honestly, he could have fully committed there if he really wanted, but you know what, sure, let's play it safe. Tribe Gaming feels the pressure, they gotta commit, they gotta go for kills, and it's not that easy to go aggro into a Mortis like that, but the control is from their side, they're all in the spawn spotted up on the bottom left that Mortis looking to get some kind of, while the RBM is kind of getting low as well.
Yeah, he's looking to drop legs though. Bilal trying to stay alive inside a super. It's good healing, but it might not be enough here. Ducky's going to do something, but he's low. Great cocoon. That's going to take the pressure off. Buy some pressure seconds to heal up. RBM though already used that super. Tap down is Living hitting some nice shots. Makaze goes in. Luffy though falls. This is still Vatic in the lead, and Ducky now has his super.
And then Sliver just hits every single cocoon exactly when it needs to be. Always focuses RT. That guy is just completely on fire. Now Ducky has an ult. I am not sure how you're gonna push that. Even when RT ult will not be enough to handle that. Sure, Kaza side will probably need to put a Geisha ult down. She cannot just go blindly in like that.
Hypercharge super for Bilal. That healing is going to be crucial. Luffy going to be revealed briefly inside those bushes. 20 seconds left in the game. It's Ducky, poised like the sword of Damocles with a super ready to go. Luffy first, Hypercharge Fanstorm deployed, and here comes some Spiderlings. Diego Gamer already pops the Weekend Warrior going low. There was Ducky, he's going to get in there. Big lifeblood, good damage, but he doesn't want to follow it up. 3 seconds left, 1 star in it. Vatic are going all the way. Oh no, Tribe! In the last seconds, find the RT Hypercharge. Just get to 21 stars. It doesn't get any closer than that.
Finally, both teams have woken up. Tribe have woken up. What a comeback of a comeback of a comeback of a comeback. What is even happening? Everyone in the corner. Oh, I cannot believe this gameplay of level. Now, Blue Star going this time for the side of Kaza. Tribe Gaming is back in their feet.
Take a breath here, Vatic. Close, so close to victory. When our Tribe Gaming have been extended an opportunity to keep this series going. Oh, what a shot from Bilal. RBM was asking for it in fairness. Weekend Warrior popped, but there's nothing for Diego to be doing. He's got no business pushing ahead. Luffy wants to come forward, but it's an easy gadget fadeaway, and Diego fell off screen.
What a waste of a Geisha ult of a Fanstorm from Luffy here. With Jayang dying as well, that is not good for them. The Small is just going to go and cast it back to them. That's exactly the interaction I told you earlier. She cannot win that by any means possible.
Next time that happens, Ducky's going to be able to build super amidst the interaction and do exactly the same thing. We'll need the fidget spinner cooldown, most likely, so Ducky will allow Luffy back into the map. Luffy has nothing to lose, doesn't have the blue star anymore, so is happy to go aggressive when and if possible. His Livy's cocoons, Semantic, have been massive, shutting down that momentum, catching the Kaze when she tries to come forward.
And he has a high bolt now with that, so if he pops it again on this RT, beautiful gadget from Ducky, it's not going to be enough. The healings of Jayang is there, but Ducky commits. Oh, cocoon to save him as well. He's going to get out of it, but this lead is at 7 stars currently, and Luffy falls down as well.
Oh, Tribe are in absolute shambles now, as Livy has been on point with this stopping power. Bilal has a super ready to go, and Ducky has been unstoppable. RBM there has super ready. Ducky doesn't want to go and fight him, but instead teases it out. He's still whipped down against the legs dropped by RT. Nobody can stop the Mortis right now, and Vatic are close to victory here. Luffy wants to pressure, but really it's all bark and no bite. And Ducky's going to wrap around the backside. He's a lifeblood. That you'd sooner forget if you're a Tribe Gaming fan, as they get dismantled in the final moments of this bounty game. Legs dropped, forget about it. 10 seconds left, and Luffy's going to try and come in with a hypercharged super. As Livy says, take what you like. We've already got this dub. It's Ducky waiting, set on his hyper. We'll have a chance to use it there if we get some damage in, but that is that. Your champions of April, out of absolutely, literally nowhere, are Vatic.
They just deserved it. They played amazing. The team play, the Mortis gameplay, everything was just on point. This is them, man. This is them. No, they're so hyped up to play the split 2 of BSC.
And that's pretty good, right? Kind of fun.
We'll see about that. We'll see about that on broadcast.
Oh, man.
Watching is always fun. Watching is always fun.
We've had an opportunity here to see some fantastic sets in this series. Tribe Gaming starts strong here, right? The Kaze's able to get the blue star early, and Ducky looks a little awkward. He's diving on this RT. He's honestly getting taken down with a leg drop, but he finds his footing pretty quickly.
He even killed the RT once in a pure 1v1, which is what I'm telling you, it's not even a full counter to it. The Kaze was in a corner pick, the RT was in a corner pick, and definitely Jayang not. That Mortis first pick was just uncountered the whole round.
Yeah, that was pretty astonishing when Ducky finally gets going. Yeah, the RT hypercharge very powerful towards the end of that round. It snatches a win there for Tribe Gaming, but this second run through wasn't even close. Vatic steal themselves, they compose themselves, as Livy looks fantastic here as a leader. He's really fantastic on his control brawlers, and there's not really much that can be done to try and run past this Charlie. Getting stunned up, getting stomped in your tracks, and I'm really impressed. Vatic have every reason to feel vindicated here because it's been really up and down for them so far in the BSC, and yeah, no Brawl Cup for them, but they've now set themselves up for a real crack at this postseason.
After they finally made it out of the quarterfinals, they make it all the way to become